Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, not too much happened last time. We talked to Natsume in the prison cell and got his side of the story for a few things. And then we basically went straight to trial, where Barrack Van Zeeks called in the victim, that is I guess is now all better, as his newest witness, along with gas man or whatever. That was the gas guy that was outside of his apartment when we left it. So yeah. Anyways, we're now going to hear his, should I say his? Let's stop playing the pronoun game. Shamsphere's side of the story. So yeah, let's get this started. The snow lay about. My neighbour did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But merry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, not else. Oh yeah, what am I gonna give Niederman? What voice? I don't even remember what voice I gave him. Ah well. O's up! Nah, that's Gregson's voice. Whatever. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-back eastern fella. So, basically just Natsume visited. That's about it. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamsphere's room all night? This man is a peeping Tom. That's right. Of course, the bloke's window's all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered into that. The question is, why? Well now, that's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is a man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed, make no more ado about his tedious words. What'd you say about me? Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And, as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. But wait, the times that Suseki said and what he said conflicts, because that means... whatever. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel of the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Alright. Let's see how we do this. Alright, so I'm just taking care of something here. Great. Oh, wait a second. He said after... Wait a second. He said bitter was his drink. When he left, I fell. It means he drank the tea and then fell right afterward, which is weird because shouldn't he have... should he not have fallen a little bit after? Because it said it was at 1:30, unless something was starting. Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock. It wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What are you doing? What are you... If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, That 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly. 'Tis an easy task. Huh? I did drink of the tea, not whilst my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such an argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again? And who was stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words that attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. Okay, nothing else past your lips? So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper? Ha! Fie on luxury! Fie on gluttony! To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full, no more oft than the sun doth rise.
Well, most heroic evening habits, I must say.
Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence it is, that there doth not be in my chamber be then the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now that I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right. That wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Okay. Let's talk. Saying in his first statement.
Hold it!
To be clear, by name, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst I call him the man from upstairs? And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony. Oh,
With the defendant's own testimony, yes.
and we were broiled in such a literary debate as history had not seen before. By which I presume he means the discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as what our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment.
I dare not imagine the scene.
Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the Eastern art of jujitsu. Yes, that's how it's said. But ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought into your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly, I would do thy bidding. You can tell I was made for this character. Let's talk to Meterman. Hold it! Why are you keeping an eye on his window? But the windows of that house have all been filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But, as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork that's at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking through that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body. What's with all the theatricals today? Out of interest, Mr. Meterman. After the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. It was in that room the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room and hence didn't dispose of the poison container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Ah, yes. Yes. Lucidly explained, Counsel. Thank you.
It really was. You can't argue with the logic. Alright, next one. Hold it! No one else visited his room. You say that a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was the defendant then? Okay, now come on, you're grasping at straws at this point.
Objection!
How many other short little round-backed nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure myself. And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shakespeare drink tea together? Nah, sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of that little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. And the pair of them started a kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it. I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you say with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gas man's honor. Oh dear. My lord?
Goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman?
I've kept my mouth shut and listen up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Yes. Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you've reached a unanimous decision? Too right we have. Are you all with me? Yes. Wait, no, the defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the room. Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it.
But in the end, what difference do they make? None, as far as I can see.
And since that's now apparent, there's nearly no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 vial humble midnight, the missus will blow it up. What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well. Let the court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Great. All of you?
Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please. The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mr. Sato? What about the information I found in this encyclopedia about British law I have? That obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations, remember? A summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in a British court, if we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Japanese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend, instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly, no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination.
Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with the summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused.
The jurors' contentions. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Well, I do declare that the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid.
Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, soups all the while, and has a mustache. Very fishy.
There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actors are fraudsmen. For now, at least.
I really don't care. Like, I just need this trial to end quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all.
I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shamspeare is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements. And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have registered at all. Well, here goes. Let's not forget, I've pleaded with the jury on Suzuki-san's behavior before and it worked. So you never know. Before we begin, it might be... Oh, a summation exam. Okay, well, we already know how this works. Essentially, it's like another type of testimony. You read the jurors' words, then you try to pit their words against each other, essentially cycling through which parts of the testimony contradict each other. So, yeah. Anyways, if you're confused by anything at any point, you can turn to me for advice whenever you like. I'll be here for you. The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding two that are... Oh, I literally just said that.
Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright. Let's get started. The defense's rebuttal. Okay. I can already tell 2 and 4 are mixing up because if we convince one of them that it's a fraud, then their testimony is over with. Noble man. So I'm guessing 2 and 4 and 1 and 3. As well as 5 and 6, yeah, nah. Don't feel like they'll give us anything useful.
Hold it!
So start with 4. A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? It really is a most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence, we can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. What? I'm sorry, you lost me a little there. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of Altamont Gas Company.
Good gracious! Ultimate gas, you say?
Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the Eastbound office would be the first to agree.
Absolutely, Lady Queenbee. Gotta be used properly. Altamont gas is the best in the world, of course.
I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he? Ah, so would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meademan was watching Mr. Shampsy was up to in his room? I'm afraid there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman, but to this patch work to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Shakespeare is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public, but you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words, were I to let them penetrate the skin? But seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angel in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in an ultimate gas explosion. So, he has been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement? My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping that thief apart you enjoyed? A little before the part about abject violence, if it's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. Alright. Well, it's just one testimony. What's that gonna do? Well,
Hold it!
talk to him, I guess. No, not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty.
But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache, and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps, like a waltz, in fact. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance.
You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though, and you're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt.
But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big chin man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Oh, that's another 3 steps. All this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it?
Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way to victory if I let you speak much more. Well, alright, I guess, what do I want to do? Whatever, I guess let's just pit 2 and 4 next to each other, cause, that's pretty much it. Oh wait, I forgot. We have jurors. We have the other jurors to go through, right?
Hold it!
Sorry, I just realized that. So I was trying to think what exactly we could do here. Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was that Japanese man's teeth. When you take the gas man's testimony into account, well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Ah, well, that's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten lie after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Isn't that right?
Well, yes, perhaps, although I don't see it happening.
Hey, what's that? Elderly gent on the end here, you know. You'll have to speak up.
Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. I just need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury, then? Alright. Well, we got... Alright, sir. Alright. There. We actually got it here. I guess I didn't need 2 after all.
Objection!
There it is. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! 2 statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 1. Huh? What are you yelling about now, lad? I presume you've heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamont Gas. Well, yes. The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, in fact turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as much. It's true. We don't have evidence as such, just yet. But their claims aren't baseless, you know. What? You heard me. Seeing as his operation has already been compromised, I would suggest that the court hears testimony from my East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's honor.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. If I could show that Mr. Shamspeare was a liar, you assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt. Yes, I did say that. As a man of honor, I allowed to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me? Oh, well, yes. Now that we've found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you all been saying. So if this means you recap a few points, that would suit me down to the ground.
No, I'm not having any part of this. I just want this trial to be over and done with. In that case, I shall change my leaning. So, Mr. William Shamspeare, if that is your real name, we of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of a person you really are. That's the 4 we need. Good, though. That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory.
Order! Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defendant's summation examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and order the trial to continue.
Great. You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shamspeare. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. So God mend me, I do swear. This gas man speaketh that which concerns him most, not but gas, not but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul. Oi, what'd you say?
Do I take it, Mr. Shamspeare, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery?
Most heartily, my lord. Hadst thou forgot, I am as a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart. Ugh, you flowery-mouthed pompous beanpole, just 'cause I haven't got the evidence yet. Mr. Shamspeare? Shamspeare? I say Shamspeare, it's Shamspeare. If, in fact, you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony shall have no sway in this courtroom.
It is my considered opinion that at the present time, no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court has been thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule at this case.
Oh no.
However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue this point further.
Objection!
I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas in this case are unrelated. Juror number 4. Yes. Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man had been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right. We do. Don't we? Walker? Absolutely, Lady Quimby.
Gasman's honor.
Very well then. We will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, has been stealing gas.
Yes, my lord. It'll be my pleasure. On the ultimate gasmate.
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah?
Wahoo! Oh yeah, sweet as honey. Yeah.
Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
Yeah. You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting, you mark my words.
So, you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Ultimate Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as ultimate gas, my lady. Which is the clearest in the world.
Okay, sorry. Something just happened there. Don't worry. It's literally just the same. The camera just panned over to Renosuke, so nothing changed. Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mrs. Sato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo. Alright.
Let's hear the testimony then, shall we?
The Altamont Gas Company's investigations.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept threepenny bits, with each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet, the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room... The meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
I see.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet, now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly, what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance.
But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead.
Do what you will.
Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and an instance of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. But, I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who or what this man really is. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Threepenny bits, each coin giving 2 hours. No coin in the thing. The meter doesn't appear to be tampered with. Are you sure of this? There's only one key for all of your meters? Well, in truth, there is another key in the company vault at our main office. But even if someone had managed to somehow get hold of a key, we'd know if a coin box had been opened. Oh? How? I come up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens. Would you care to explain?
Well now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. But when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see.
A seal? Like the sort of thing you'd put on an envelope, you mean?
Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal.
Now, in the case of Mr. Shamsfield's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either.
So that would mean Mr. Shamsfield somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it? It would seem so, but that would be impossible. Huh. Okay. Whatever. You'd never seen a coin in it. How do you know? Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching gas off us for ages.
And you've examined the meter in Mr. Shamsfield's room, I take it?
Naturally. We took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume.
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock, the Shamsfield Special. That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces. But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation when I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the minister off the wall and took him back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of it being jemmied up in anywhere. Not a single sign. And what's happening to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I've still got it.
Oh?
Raya.
No wonder they call you Meter Man.
I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
Great, because this is important. No, really. Definitely. Although at first glance there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it.
Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say that it has as much value as the contents of that meter. Oof.
Alright. So. Let's check out the meter. Because I actually remember this part well. Well, here's what the lady said. The beeswax on the lock. That's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it? And the money box is sealed with beeswax too. So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately. Mr. Naruhodo, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would... You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs. But it does feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? And if we look at the meter, nothing. Everything's just fine. The coin slot is here. I mean, nothing's out of the ordinary. Until we look at the bottom. A lovely little hole. What is Shamsford has been doing with this hole? Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo? Just here. There's a little hole. Do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. How? It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamsphere? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious. And there we go. We got our testimony. We got our objection thing for the time. Not the armband. This.
Objection!
There it is. Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What? Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box? Hole? What? You're right. You're quite right. There's a little hole in there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamsphere secretly opened this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised. But why? Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a farthing through that. Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of details? Well, what I'd specifically like to know is, how it differentiates coins. How exactly does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put a 1-penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin has been fed as a threepenny bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see. It's clearly been well thought out.
The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
In which it is, since I can now use the card that I've been hiding. Namely, nothing else will fit. Well, if you recall, the soap bar we found out has a mysterious circlish imprint. That is important. Let's place this on the new statement 4 and see what happens.
Objection!
The witness's last statement is clearly... What? Yes, undeniably. What? That should be... it? I fail to see any contradiction. Yeah? I'm pretty sure we found the hole earlier. Excuse me? Time for a rethink. Excuse me? I'm pretty sure I examined this whole thing. Oh, it's new. How was I supposed to know it was new? Excuse me? Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on the side. I examined this before. How am I supposed to know it was new? Or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think... We did find this soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes. There were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. But I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle of there. I remember it clearly. Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? Yeah? Anyways. Let's press
Objection!
it. There it is. Make me waste a whole star for that. Whatever. Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, The meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. What was that? Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as the threepenny bit. What was it? The item in question is this. What? Have you been inhaling gas? As a bar of soap? It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say. Looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's important about the soap is the bottom of it right here.
Got it!
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Get away!
Does anyone here present have in the possession of threepenny bits? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits. My word! It couldn't be more snug!
Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded. Well, I don't believe it. So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas? Yes. The depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit.
I must concur at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape.
And then you can use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You can make fake coins in no time. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamspeare has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that can make them disappear.
I see. That's what we're dealing with, isn't it? There is but one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes? Exactly. And the meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
If that is your assertion, Counsel, the defense will identify these remnants for the court at once.
Alright. Well, easily enough. It's on the bottom. It's the only actually visible part of everything.
Got it!
We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Outside? Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering, in the freezing winter air. That's where we found this bar of soap. Ah, I get it. That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. Did you say ice? Mr. Shamspeare has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening, filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then, he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in space. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning back into water, and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Man's is smart. Wow. Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water? That's right, madam. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and water can render it totally useless? I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. Evidence! Sorry? I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? Very well, Lady Altamont. If you like evidence, I'll provide it. What? Miss Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory? I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with could explain it. Alright, so if you don't have eagle eyes, you may not have noticed. Over here, there's a puddle underneath the gas thing. To the left, at the bottom. Someone could easily just put a bucket underneath there, then just pour the water into cups. So,
Take that!
there it is. Okay, good. This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. And it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamsphere. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamsphere's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter. What? What is that? Some kind of grubby stain? Almost certainly, it's a water stain, resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Ah! If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage, and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. Jeez. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. Bro, why not save up and get a bucket or something? That way, right? Matter of fact, you could just use a cup, literally, and then you could just put the water, just leave the water in there. Then you can use the bucket to reuse the water. I mean, what would happen if? Oh wait, no, that plan only works if you're in winter, doesn't it? Whatever. This is awful. And there's further evidence too. Mr. Shamsphere slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right.
It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, wasn't he? Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not.
He didn't beat about the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamsphere was found with a fork in his hand.
A meal of soap is sounding increasingly.
What do you mean to say? It was using that fork to...
Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. Ah. But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious!
Didn't you do that earlier? What? Lord Van Zeeks.
I was throwing my hand up in despair,
And happened to catch my hollowed bottle on the way. Pray, forgive my maladroit mistake.
What is the meaning of this, counsel?
Why does this keep falling over? Whatever. Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Well... that Mr. William Shakespeare's a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it. That's exactly it. Very well. Let us assume the man is a liar. Now, allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well, we know that the suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to this room except for the accused. The young gas man's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shakespeare is a liar, the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There is no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate education. You... What?
Order! Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo, what was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Zeke's saying? Well, you know the rule. Whenever Ace Attorney says to raise an objection, you raise the objection. No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest. What?
But, counsel, you successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shakespeare to consume gas. What more is there to discuss?
Lord Van Zeek just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all. What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend? At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption, made due to a lack of evidence. But the situation has changed, now following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand. Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense? Yes, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question we now need to reconsider. Namely, well, we know no one else could be responsible, and we know there was no other visitor. But what we don't know is that there was poison in the tea. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. But that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility.
And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of poison.
Objection!
As I said, the situation has changed, because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene, and a particular piece of evidence proves it.
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard's detective investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed.
Very well then, counsel.
Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime could tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Again, the bar of soap.
Take that!
Because we know before it was tea.
Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. More bars of soap. There were multiple. I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar.
So, you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating.
In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red.
The ice was red? No. You mean...
That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea.
What?
I would remind the court of the statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. Evening, he brought tea. Public water pump freezes, so he brought bottled water. Oh.
Ah, yes. I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the east end are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamsbury, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins.
My word!
There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. Sorry. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamsbury's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even one drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to approve or disprove that what has until now been mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea was actually contained strychnine at all.
You smug Nipponese!
My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bars of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough examination of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend to the scene at once. Yes, my lord. Understood.
Alright.
You see, we have no choice but to suspend the proceedings for this time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks.
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the teeth from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and the defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Alright, and it's an hour and 10 minutes. I think that's the best place to end this episode. Phew. I am tired. We did a lot of stuff today. Next time, we're going to go a bit further on. Not in 7, let's go in 5, actually. So. There. Let me stop here, actually. There, okay. There, let's stop here. So, next time, we're going to continue with our investigation. See what else we can find now that, we know Mr. Champier is a liar. So, yeah. I guess with that being said, I'll see you all next time. And thanks for watching.